Well, hello. Let's take a look at what's new in version 2.5 of H2R Graphics. Lots of updates to get through today, and I think I'll kick things off talking about a kind of small one, but an important one. If I open up Windows, I now remember much better where those windows were opened at before. So next time I launch the app, these windows will stay in that place whenever I open them, like this. It even works for full screen mode. So for example, if I open this window up in full screen mode and then I close it with my keyboard here, Control W, that window goes away. Next time I open up the application, it will go full screen, and this will work nicely on external monitors as well. So an important one, what seems like a small one, but a really important one for sure. Looking more into the application of things that are new, I'll just open up that screen again, come out of full screen, put it off to the side. A couple of the new graphics in this version are a couple of new pro graphics actually. We now have what's called a message with icon, and we have credits, and we can take a look at both of those right now. So the message with an icon looks a bit like this. Let me just hide that social one out of the way. You have an icon and you have the message, and if I edit that graphic, I can choose some of the inbuilt icons that I've just added here to the application. So like a question mark, any questions, just ask. Perfect for your production there. Throw up an icon with a message beside it. What we can also do is choose some custom text. So for example, I can put my own question mark in there instead, or I can even use a custom image. So I can use anything from the media section in the app. You can see here I only have this little thumbnail in there, so it looks kind of small, but you get the idea. You could add a little tiny logo of your company or something similar like that, and then you have that little icon with a message. I'll just pop it back to the arrow right, one of the built-in ones. The next pro graphic in this version is the credits roll, so I will show that right now. You can see by default it has a background, and then it has a small text and large text, and it scrolls off the screen. Now, just like anything else in the H2R graphics here, you can set up a custom theme. So for example, I will say my credits theme. I'll add that, and then maybe the background I want it to be transparent. I will also remove any borders, and then I'll head back into my rundown and choose the custom theme of credits. Now when I show that again, at first nothing changes, but the credits has come on screen and you can see them rolling past there, just as you would expect it to. Like I said, I have a few options here. I have a speed option, so how long you want it to take for the credits to roll past. Something like medium works nicely. We have some lead text for that, so you may want to say, you know, big thanks to, and then you have all the credits, and that's just a message section here, so you can write as much text in there as you want. And the credits will scroll past and look as you expect them to, in this case at a medium speed. One other thing that I'm going to show you now is I have this new crowd from data source section here. So when you have a data source like a YouTube live chat linked to this graphic, you can show little faces of people who chatted during your live stream. And here's an example of my recent live stream with that feature in action. You can see my credits roll. I have my lead text, my sponsors of the channel, and then I have a little profile image of anyone who chatted during that live stream, and that's what it looks like. And speaking of live streams, one of the new improvements to this version is you now have the opportunity to add a celebration whenever someone gives you money during a YouTube live stream. For example, they give you a sponsored message. So I have a few built in here. I have this balloons one, which lets balloons rise through the screen. I also have a cool little confetti one, which lets confetti fall down through the screen. And then I have this money one, which lets money fall down through the screen. It looks a bit different whenever it's small like this. Whenever it's full screen, it looks a bit different. So that's a look at the upcoming sponsored messages. You can also just click on the sponsored little checkbox here. So if you want to see what it looks like, I'll just delete that one. Add a new social message, and then I can click on sponsored, so that in my pre-show I can just take a look what that's going to look like and make sure it looks the way I want it to look. There we go. Another nice improvement in this version is that there's much more fine control now over positioning of all of the elements. So if I show my lower third on screen here, I can pop into my positioning section, and now I can use the standard way of scale X and Y, but I can also use my keyboard in here to really get the scale down. I can also type in anything I want, so 94.5 would give me a much more specific placement of the scale of that, or maybe I can do that with the X and Y. Actually, let me bring it up there. And then with my keyboard here, I'm just pressing the up arrow or the down arrow just to get that into a rough position. Maybe I want 24.5, and you can see there it changes incrementally as I type in those numbers. Or I can use these little arrows as well to go up and down through the position. So much more fine control over X, Y, and Z as well. One thing that just got a whole lot easier in this version is the ability to add a custom background to any lower third. So I'm going to import an image here that I have on my computer, and it is a custom background for my lower third. In fact, let me just throw up an image so you can see what that looks like. So it looks like that. It is a full it's a PNG, so a 1920 by 1080 PNG, and I have transparency everywhere that I don't want to show anything, and then I have some color where I want my lower third to show up. So that's what the image looks like, but I can just delete that and add a lower third graphic instead. These texts are just fine for now, and I'll choose a yes custom background image, and then I'll choose that frame 23, which was the one that I chose a second ago. And for positioning, I'll leave that on the bottom left for now. And if I show that, you'll see one thing. It does look a bit strange right now, but that's because I haven't set my theme. And I can use that credits theme I used and created earlier, which has no background and no borders. And then from there, whenever I set the positioning, it will not affect the PNG in the background. It's only affecting the text in the foreground. So I can make this a little bit bigger if I wanted, put it over here, move it down. I can use what I showed off before, which is the a little bit more fine grain control of positioning, and then I can put my text there. Now of course my theme looks a bit weird. Let's head into my credits theme, maybe change the color of the small text to something like that. The one tip at this point is to pop into the position and set the scale to 100%, and that way you don't get any funky things happen later. You'll probably find yourself that as you mess around with it, it may jump around a little bit, but if I set the scale to 100%, then whenever I type in whatever text I want here, John Barker, here to record, it all works as I expect it to. And of course you could just type in a dynamic text or list into these instead and use that one lower third like that. So now I have a custom background image and editable text on my lower third. There's lots of other updates in this version 2.5, and give it a download, check out the release notes, and you will be pretty happy with these updates, I think. Best of luck, let me know of any issues.